Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I am whipping down to Bronwyn's for the day. We're going to spend the day together crafting while the boys are out playing golf, and the kids are going to have some fun mucking around together. And Bronwyn asked me if I would show her how to make journals. So I said to her, of course. I love making books. I've always made books. And because I'm going to be helping her make her first one, I wanted to take some crafty stuff for myself, but I wanted to be stuff that... Hello, Piper. Hello. I wanted it to be things that, for me, anyway, something that I could do without thinking too hard, something that I could just sort of throw together while I'm helping Bronwyn in between, because I don't like to sit idle. I sort of can't do that. And I thought it would be good if I made a book too, so I could sort of demonstrate to her what she was doing as she was doing, and hopefully that would make more sense, what I was telling her. So what I'm going to do is make a journal for myself, for my own personal use. I've had some notebooks and notepads and things kicking around for years that are just, they're either not a pretty cover, or they're thin, or they're like a notepad rather than a book, but I like the paper, and you know, all those sort of bits and pieces that I've had laying around forever. And I keep saying to myself, gonna use that, gonna use that, gonna use that. Well, now is the time to use them. So I'm going to take some of those with me today, and I'm going to turn something old into something new while I help Bron, you know, develop hopefully a new skill of her own, and hopefully a love for journal making. So I'm going to flip you guys around and show you what I am taking with me before I go. And then I don't know that I'll get a chance to process while we're there, but I will come back and show you a flip in this video. It'll be a few minutes for you, but it'll probably be the next day for me, just so that you can see how the journal turned out and what it is. And it's just going to be really basic, nothing fancy, no bells and whistles, just because it's for my own use, and I'll fancy it up as I use it. I always say that. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, who knows. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to flip you around and show you, and then we can get started packing bags and getting kids in cars. And there she is again, my beautiful assistant. So yeah, we'll see you on the other side. Alright, so I have got my collection here that I'm going to use to make a book. And just to give you a little bit of an idea, I've got, in this particular stack, this little notebook is a Hobonichi notebook, and it's got Tomoe River paper in, I think it's like a 3mm grid or whatever it is that they use. And then I have got here a KikK notepad. Let me stand up so you get a better view. Now this has actually got three, what am I trying to say, different lengths of paper, that in different, you know, lined, plain, and I think the bottom one's got like a planner sort of layout. But the paper quality is not too bad on these notepads, and I want to use up all my stuff. So we're going to have a Tomoe River grid paper. We're going to have this notepad's going to go in. I have got some dot grid paper that is from an Officeworks coil bound dot grid notebook that I pulled apart. The dots are actually really dark, and probably a bit more darker than I'd like, but it's still a 5mm dot grid like you would get. Oh, my camera is, sorry everyone, like you'd get in a Leuchtturm, and the paper quality is pretty good. So even though I don't like how dark the dots are, they're a little too dark to sort of, you know, they're a bit distracting, but they'll be fine in here, sort of mixed in together. I have had this particular notepad for years. I've actually got two of them. I bought it in like a junk shop, and as you can see, the English is not particularly perfect, but the papers inside, I don't know if you can sort of see properly, they are black and white, sort of monotone on the back, and on the front they have these beautiful colors and beautiful designs, and the paper is sort of textured, but it's quite thick. So I think that that'll be a cute sort of color pop addition. So there's that. I have got, this is a Canson mixed media paper sketchbook insert. So it's just plain white, no lines, no nothing. But mixed media paper is great because it can take a lot of punishment. And then I have got a very old notebook that I have had for since I was a kid, and you can possibly see here the fading of the spine for how long it's sat on my bookshelf. And I loved this as a kid because it had these beautiful sayings and the leaf on the cover, and the paper inside is has got one-handed. It's got these lovely sort of blossoms on it, and there's a quote at the top. And the lines are sort of coloured. This is a sort of a khaki, sort of olivey colour. Now, I have started sort of using them, but I'm not going to finish the notebook. So I decided that I will take the paper out. I'll do something with the cover as a feature inside, and repurpose it and put it to good use. So this particular stack is going to make me a book about yay thick, which is a very technical term. If I was to get a tape measure out, I could probably tell you, but I'm not quite sure. I'm going to do that with holding the camera in one hand. And then what I'm doing is I'm just tying them together so that I know that that's going to be a journal. So over here, I have got a stack that I've already done, which is pretty much exactly the same. There was a second one of those sort of florally notebooks, the other mixed media insert because they came in a pack of 2, the second of the junk shop notepads that you saw. There's the dot grid paper. That is also a Kiki K notepad with the tiered papers sort of to-do lists in like a tropical fruit kind of fun. And there's the other Tomoe River paper notebook. And I'm going to go through my bookshelf and just tie together my loose things into little groups like this so that when I'm ready to use a new journal or make a new journal for my personal collection, I can just pull out a chunk and set to getting it sorted. So this one I can probably measure a little easier because it's already tied together, if I can get that to stand up for a minute. So we are looking at what is that? It's about 1.25 inches. So maybe 1.5 inches. So it's going to be certainly thicker than like your standard Leuchtturm or something like that. But that's okay. That doesn't bother me. I don't mind a chunky journal. But it's not going to be so thick that it's not going to be usable. So there are those. And I have got in my shelf a whole heap of other things up there that I'm going to sort of bind up and turn into these little packages. But I will come back and show you bits and pieces as I go, turning these into, repurposing them into something else. So stay tuned. Okay, so I am back from my day at Bronwyn's. It was actually a couple of days ago now, but I thought I would show you how far I got with what I did. This is the completed, I'll say completed for now, journal. It's A5. As you guys saw, I had all those books in together in bundles, and I used the plastic covers as the base. And I did intend for this to be the front because there is, I don't know if you can see it, there is a little bit of glue bleed through under here. So I had actually intended for this to be the front, but in true Sammy style, I stuck these signatures in upside down. So, it's becoming a theme. It's becoming a theme. This is the front. And I think I might, as time goes on, I'm thinking about what I can do to cover this glue up, or trying to decide whether I really don't care. Anyway, it ended up a lot fatter than what I was thinking it would, which was really funny because I was teaching Bronwyn how to make her first journal, and I said to her, I don't really like doing a spine sort of anything larger than 2 inches. I feel like it gets a bit clunky for me personally, not for everybody, but if I want to carry it around and it starts to, like, you know, as you can see, there's heaps of room to expand, and it will. And this spine is like, oh God, where's my ruler? Just when I need one. So we are looking at 2.5 inches, or just short of, probably 2.25 and yeah. Anyway, the spine is bigger than what I said I wanted, but that's all right. That is okay. So it's just fabric covered with this lovely sort of hand-dyed fabric spine. Pink and teal are two of my favorite colors. Well, they are my two favorite colors. And so that's how I just chose this floral fabric to cover it in. And then I picked the other colors from there. So the teal I picked to match that. The ribbon obviously matches. And then that is just a zip strip off some scrapbooking paper, which I really liked the words that it said. And now this here, the book plate, I suppose you'll call it on the front, is actually an artist trading card that my mum made, oh God, years ago, and I stole it because I really loved the theme. And even though it doesn't, like, at first glance, when I grabbed it out of my journal box, I thought, oh God, there's no way that's going to match. But I actually really like the way that it looks on the front there. I'm not sure whether this bead is going to be a bit annoying when I actually want to journal on that side of the page. But you know what? I'm going to find that out. And you guys will see me using this journal in time to come. So we'll be finding that out together. So this one's really quite flexible and loose.
Mommy, done.
What's done, sweetie? Oh, thank you. You're going to give those back to me now, are you? Thank you for those. We're missing one. Can you find the other one? Piper's been playing with my poos in suits. I do have more of them somewhere, but these four are, well, 3 now. Okay, so where was I? It's nice and flexible and floppy. As I fill it up, that will change. There's room to expand and sort of become sort of more filled up and filled in. Oh, there he is. Frog poo. Thank you, Piper. So inside the inner cover here, I've got a book plate that I will write, you know, my name on, probably. And then here is a pocket, which if I had thought earlier, I would have, you know, had it tagged somewhere here. Okay. So that's a pocket there. And that's just the top of that zip strip down into a dovetail flag there underneath. I felt like this page needs more work. I'm not 100% happy with it. And I did forget to distress all the edges of this paper, so I'm a little bit annoyed. But that is something that can change over time. Nothing is ever set in stone. So the pages inside are a mixture of all of the things that I showed you. Just to give you a little flip without getting too into it, there is some of that nature journal page. This washi tape here you will see quite often because the notepad pages I just washied together with washi tape that I didn't really love that much. Which seems like a weird thing to do, but I only wanted it to make my single pages into a double spread so that I could bind them. And even though the tape's not one that I love, if I want to, when I come to use this, I can just put other washi over the top. There's some of that dot grid paper. In here is the center of this signature with 2 of the notepad pages stuck together, so you can see how that was done. And then obviously it goes back the other way. Here's some Tomoe River paper from that Hobonichi book. Another notepad page. And then that's the mixed media paper, the plain mixed media paper. That is another one of those. Here is from the Love is Magi pad that I adore. I have still kept the cover of that, and I'm probably going to turn it into a journal card or something like that. And that's the back. And then there's the back of the mixed media paper and the, yeah. So the whole book is obviously blank at this stage. The papers are all different sizes. They're all different types of paper. So essentially this is a junk journal, but it is a very basic junk journal. And then obviously the way that I bound it, it is a lay flat spine, lay flat binding. You can sort of see my signatures, like my sewing needed a little bit of work, but it doesn't really matter because I was sort of just throwing this one together, and this one's for me. And because I was teaching Bronwyn at the same time, I was just sort of fiddling away without paying probably as close attention as I should have, but that's all right. And then at the back, I've got this scrapbooking paper here, which forms the back cover, and I've got an envelope which has got the leftover things that I took with me to Bronwyn's on the day and I didn't end up using, but I've just left in there for now because they were picked to match this journal. So when I come to use this journal and work in it, I'll pull that stuff out maybe and use it. I did want to have a ribbon bookmark, like many of the bullet journals and stuff have, which I forgot to add. But because I didn't secure the signatures dead to the spine, I should easily be able to add that later if I want to, which I probably will. And you know what, I might even add two, just because the spine is so wide, I think it could benefit from having two. So when I make books to sell or give away, they are not quite this haphazard, because this one's just for me and it was just a rebinding of stuff I already had. I literally just threw it together. So I guess it's that old adage of not buying the car that belongs to the mechanic because he's so busy taking care of everyone else's. He doesn't take care of his own. But the good thing about this is that it really is just a base at the moment and it's a work in progress. And I think what I'm going to do is go back to my other little book packages and cut them into half. Or even potentially thirds, but definitely half, because I don't necessarily want to be doing tomes this big every single time. But you guys will see this. This will make an appearance. I'm going to start doing, well, every journal that I work in, you guys are going to see. My current bullet journal will eventually be full, or, well, sooner rather than later, hopefully. But this will be going into my bookshelf with my other blank notebooks for me to just do my everyday journaling and stuff in. So yeah, you'll be seeing this one making a comeback, and that will be an adventure we'll go on together. So until then, I guess I'll see you guys later. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this brief little look at how that turned out. And if anybody's interested in seeing the actual process that I used to deconstruct my old notebooks and repurpose them, and see the process video of me making the next one, then let me know in the comments down below, because I can totally do that. It's really easy and it's quite a fun project. So yeah, if you're interested, give me a hoy, and until then, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.